We're back on this special edition of the Spin Room, marking the 40th anniversary of the day the Egyptian president Anwar Sadat became the first Arab leader to visit the Jewish state. The visit was not only a major diplomatic moment, it was also a huge media event. To talk about this, I am extremely honored to be joined by one of Israel's most respected journalists, a face that I grew up watching as a kid and as a teenager to this day, Yaakov Ahimeir of the Israel Broadcasting Authority, now known as the Israel Broadcasting Corporation. Yaakov, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's an honor to have you.
Thank you for having me.
So, okay, let's go back to that moment when the plane lands. Did you actually believe that when the plane's doors would open that Anwar Sadat was going to come out?
No.
Why not?
The door of the plane was opened and nobody came out.
Really?
There were a few tense seconds before President Sadat came out, and the first time that we saw him.
Yeah.
Because there was a thinking, actually, by the former chief of staff, Major General Motagur. He said in public that this is not something which will materialize. Yeah. This is only a conspiracy by the Egypt. I'm not quoting him, exactly, but this was the idea.
That there might be someone coming out of the plane and start shooting.
Several commandos, Egyptian commandos will come out with a submachine gun and will kill the whole Israeli top leadership.
Now, first of all, the state of Israel was a young state, but the Israeli news station that you worked on was even younger. It was a very young channel, young news station. How did it handle this massive operation in such a short time?
First of all, there was a rehearsal. It was for us, so to speak, a rehearsal, because 4 or 5 months ago, before the Sadat's landing in Israel, we covered the major Knesset election in May 1977, which caused the first change of power in Israel. The Likud, the right wing, came to power, replaced the socialist or the leftist Labour Party, and this was also a major operation, technical operation. So I think that it was a great television operation. When I was at the airport, I saw many television crews from all over the world, and it was, looking back 40 years ago, I think that maybe it was the most dramatic event that I have attended or covered.
Well, that's good that you bring that up, the drama and the emotions, because when all Israelis, the whole country, was so excited about it, such a momentous event, how difficult was it for you and maybe for other journalists to distance themselves and not forget, put their emotions on the side? They say, we have a job to do, we're journalists, and we have to report objectively, or did the emotions sometimes take over?
No, I think that most of us, the Israeli television broadcasters, we were experienced journalists, so I don't think that the audience, the viewers, felt the emotions of us, but I assume that everyone inside was very emotional. We don't have to mention the fact that only 4 years ago there was the most major war between Israel and Egypt, the Yom Kippur War,
right, 1973.
In 1973. And still, I think even until today, this war is a very tragic event in the history of Israel.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, the leader of the Egyptian invasion of religion, Egyptian surprise attack on Yom Kippur, under the leadership of President Sadat. It was unbelievable. I remember when I drove from my home on the way to the airport or to the television studio, I passed by the King David Hotel, and I saw an Egyptian flag flying over the King David Hotel.
King David Hotel in Jerusalem.
I mean, for me as an Israeli, from the rest of the Israel, it was unbelievable,